So there's lots of that go into it, but the main things are the environment and the lighting. So for example, this mesh is white, it looks white, but there's a lot of things that go into it. So for example, I'm going to hide all my lights. So I have no lights. It doesn't really look that white, but it still looks fairly white. There's also post-process. I'm going to turn that off. So obviously the first thing, let's say I want this whole character to be white. You could go to paint. Doesn't matter the roughness or whatever. So you paint everything white. Oh, I have layers. Get rid of any layers. You can paint it and everything becomes white. But again, sometimes it doesn't look white. So we have our lights. That's the first thing that I went over. We have the environment. As you can see, no environment, everything is black. So that's a good place to start. If you tap here, then you have the color of the background. So that's the first thing. You can change this. And obviously that'll change the color. So let's make that white. So now the background is white. But the background has nothing to do with our little character here. So now next let's go to environment. So you can see he's kind of white, but he's kind of gray. So that has a lot to do with this. This is my custom environment. But if you just open up Nomad, I think it's on like maybe this or this, something like that. So of course it doesn't look white. You have all these colors from the environment and everything happening. So that's the second thing, is you have to figure out your environment, and you might just want to make a white. Maybe you could just make a white one, because all of these are going to look different. They're white, but they're just white in like a different way. So you can obviously turn the exposure up, but that will affect like obviously how it looks. And it might not be that pleasant to turn the exposure all the way up, because then it just looks too blown out in some spots. But actually, let's see if you can, if I go to Procreate, add a square, a white square, save it as a JPEG. So let's just see what happens if I take an environment, import, photos, white square, add. So I made a white square, and everything is white, but you see there's really there's no contrast or anything. So there's that. So let's say if we were to add some lights. So you can see it looks gray, but let's add some lights. So here's my lighting setup. You can see it looks white. It actually looks pretty cool. So you can kind of see where my lights are. I'm going to turn the background down so you can see where my lights are. So I have lights here. So all of these are going to affect what it looks like. We'll just put one overhead. So all of these things make it look white or make it look not white. Let's see what happens if we go over the environment. It's interesting that it's just black there. So if I make this lighter, everything gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So you can see now that's super white. It actually looks cool. And then of course, if you want to make everything white, you can bring the environment or the background color up. You can bring that white as well. So now that's white. And then of course you can adjust these lights too. So if I wanted to, let's find a light. So I have some lights here. This is a sunlight. So that means if I rotate it, if I wanted him to be a little bit more light underneath, I could just rotate it so there's more light hitting him or her, wherever I want. But I think it looked nice where it was. So that's pretty much how you get everything white. So the key things to remember are the background color. You want that to be white. Make sure you put that white. Another key thing are the lights, because the only way that you'll see your object is with shadows caused by the lights. So if you turn these off, it's just going to be, there's going to be no contrast. So you have to put lights in. Make this one a little bit more dynamic. raise the intensity a bit. You have to put lights in. I have a light coming down there, a little bit brighter, and then just a little bit more. So you have to put your lights in, and obviously keep your lights white. See this little paint thing? Keep your lights white, because if they're here, then the light is going to have a tone to it. So you want to make sure that all your light colors are white. You want to make sure that your color that you're using for everything is white. If it's a little off, it's not going to be white, or it's going to be off-white. So there's that. And I think I covered everything. And then obviously you have the environment. So if I change it, you know, to something that has black in it or something that has warm tones in it, that's always going to change how it looks. But you can do that with Procreate, or just, you know, bring in a white environment, and then everything will be white. And just remember that you can change the exposure and all that kind of stuff too to make it work. All right, well, hopefully that's white enough. Hopefully that helps. There's obviously a lot to consider. Turn on post-process. That just kind of turn on global illumination. This might help with the shadows to make them a little bit darker if you want. But yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks great. Add a little grain in there. And I'll send it over to for the thumbnail for this video. So let me know if that helped. Hopefully that makes sense. And as with everything, there's a lot of factors. So I think I covered all of them that affect how to make something look white. All right, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. And by the way, this is a thylacine. Extinct, but people are trying to bring them back. Google it. Three, two, one, go.